Hey, what's happening? Happy December 2021 from beautiful Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, guys. In this video today, I'm going to be going over the top 5 mistakes to avoid if you're moving to Coeur d'Alene. I was thinking about it. I was like, man, we need to get this out there because I've seen it happen way too often. So if you're interested in learning about these top 5 and maybe a couple bonus ones too, stay tuned. Hey guys, Conor Hammons here with the Living CDA Realty Group with EXP. I do videos all year round about what it's like to work, live, and play here in North Idaho. If you've already watched all our videos, I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and tap that little bell. That will notify you every time we do a new video teaching you about the area and helping you find the right spot to buy a home. So that's what we do. I run a team here, Living CDA Realty Group. We have 10 full-time agents that are ready and willing and able to help you find the right spot to live. But we can't help you unless you get a hold of us. So you got to call, text, email, however you got to get a hold of us. Reach out to us because we'll help you find the right spot. Okay, so let's jump right into the video. The top 5 mistakes to avoid when moving to Coeur d'Alene. Number 1, I'm going to jump into really setting good expectations for yourself and what you can afford to buy in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. One mistake I've seen quite a bit lately is people thinking that they can maybe find a little bit more than what the market is allowing right now. If you watch a video, one of the earliest videos I think I put out about 2 years ago on what you could afford for 5 acres, a house and a shop, you know, $500,000 just isn't there anymore. So prices have gone up. We've had quite a bit of appreciation like the rest of the country the last 2 years. And so I think just being able to not make the mistake of getting, you know, too big of eyes and really dialing in what your non-negotiables are, what your haves are, what you need to have, and what you can't live without. And then also identify the things that maybe you want, but you can have a little wiggle room on. There's got to be some compromise there. Oftentimes, we have people coming into the area that want land or be really border national forest land or places where they can hunt and fish, and that's amazing, but there's not a lot of inventory and it's really hard to find pieces of property like that under the $1 million price point, even $1.5 million right now if you're looking for, you know, 5-10 acres with a nice home. And so what I try and remind people is we're still a very small community. You might not have to live, you know, your land border national forest land. I live downtown Coeur d'Alene. I can go up and go fly fishing for cutthroat trout on the Coeur d'Alene River in a 25-minute drive. So it doesn't really matter exactly the location. I mean, obviously, if you want some privacy, you might not want to be, you know, in a neighborhood, but we can find acreage that might not be in this certain specific spot you want to be in, and still be able to have access to all the amazing outdoor amenities, hunting, fishing, hiking, biking, all the great things that people are moving here for. Just keep an open mind. So that would be my number 1 thing, mistake to avoid is don't be closed-minded in other options when looking at homes. All right, number 2, second thing to mistake to avoid. What do I have here? Oh, huge one. I've hammered on this one before. Lenders. So if you're buying a home up here and you're getting a mortgage, don't make the mistake of using a giant national brand, internet type of lender, or even a lender maybe from the state that you're coming from. You might have a buddy, a friend, a family member, but it's just going through the process with a lot of buyers. The value of working with a local Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, North Idaho real lender is huge. Not only do they know all of the ins and outs of the Idaho lending, but it gives you a step up in advantage when you're negotiating. If you're in a multiple offer situation and you're working with a local lender, many times it's a trusted person that the listing agent might know, the seller might know. And so it might give you a leg up on a big box internet brand lender or a lender from out of state that no one's ever heard of. So that's a really important thing to avoid. that, and we have resources. We have multiple local lenders that we trust, not just one. We could send you 3-4 people that you could vet out on your own. You could look at price points and all that good stuff. Either way, I just think it's a huge benefit and a big mistake if you don't use a local lender. All right, number 3 mistake to avoid: not educating yourself on winterization with your home, with your car, really just living in the winter. If you're coming from a state that doesn't really have any sort of below freezing temperatures, no snow, one big mistake I think people make is they come here and they're too shy or too self-conscious or embarrassed to ask questions and ask for help because they might show them as being a newbie or not knowing what to do. Totally wrong. People will respect it if you're like, how do I drive? How do I learn to drive in the snow? What do I do here? What do I do for my home to make sure I'm doing the things that a local would do? And a lot of times I take that stuff for granted. I'm not great about really educating everyone because it's just in my second nature. I've lived here my whole life. So make sure you really ask, what to do for your home. Example, make sure all your gutters are clean, your eaves are clean. If it gets snow and ice buildup, create ice dams on your roof. Your sealant will start leaking. So make sure all that's clean before the winter. You got to have your sprinklers blown out, which means air pressure. They pump air through your sprinkler system in the fall before winter because you're not using them in the winter, and you don't want any water stuck in those lines through the winter. So your landscaping companies all the way around here will go and blow them out for you. It's really a nominal fee. It's like $75 to have your sprinklers blown out, and that's on the high side. Cars, just always being prepared with stuff in your vehicle, blankets, ice scrapers, and starting your car early in the morning. These are just second nature to me, but when you come up here winter for the first time, maybe something you don't know. Also, just driving in general. There's driving courses. You can take a winter driving course. It's pretty awesome. I definitely suggest you do that because if you've never driven in snow, it's a whole different animal. Growing up here, my driving lesson course was just jumping in the high school parking lot and doing donuts when no one's there. So you can do it that way too. That's the way I learned, and that's where all my friends learned. You just learn how to swerve and how to course correct, and also just be aware of your surroundings. That's the biggest thing in driving in the winter. You got to make sure you see what's going on, peripheral vision. Make sure you're predicting when things are stopping and slowing, because you got to stop way earlier than normal, or else you'll slide. You're going to have a rear end accident. One tip I always heard growing up was like, if in order to drive in the snow or on the ice, just pretend like your grandma's sitting in the back seat with a giant bowl of hot chili with no lid on it. Like, that's how you have to pretend you're driving in the snow. You got to start your brakes way early, turn slow, drive like a grandma. It's okay. You'll get a pass in the winter. You don't have to be a speed demon. It keeps you clean from accidents. So that is number 3. Number 4 thing to avoid in making a mistake is using a knowledgeable full-time agent. The mistake, I guess, would be don't use the first agent you talk to, unless it's us, of course. No, but seriously, in all honesty, there's 2,000 agents in our Coeur d'Alene MLS, and the spectrum runs very wide on competency, on professionalism. Just like any other business, any other profession, there's going to be a wide range of ability, and there's a ton of agents in our MLS. So make sure you are speaking with someone, even if you're not working with us. If you work with another agent, make sure you interview them and understand you're comfortable with their knowledge, you're comfortable with them as a professional helping you through, because it's really one of the biggest investments of your life in purchasing a home. So you don't want to take the agent you hire lightly. All right, guys, I had to take a little water break. I don't talk this fast this often like Jackson, so I had to get some water here. All right, let's jump back into number 5. I think that's where I think I left off on 4. Number 5. The 5th thing to avoid is don't procrastinate in getting on lists for your kids in terms of a pediatrician, park and recs, sports leagues, daycare, preschool, choice schools. as we grow, these lists are getting, tighter and tighter, and our options just aren't as big as a lot of the big metros and cities that some people move from. So we have, Coeur d'Alene Park and Recs Department, Hayden, Post Falls, Rathdrum, but those teams fill up fairly quickly. So if you have kids that are like to do sports, make sure you're kind of prepping and getting that ahead of time, as well as calling pediatrician offices, trying to get, hooked up with some really good doctors, as well as daycares. There's some really good daycares and preschools, but there's lists and there's waiting lists. So make sure you're not procrastinating and just waiting till you're already moved in. You kind of got to pre-plan that stuff, unfortunately. But that also kind of goes back to, using a professional agent where we can help you out. Myself and the other 10 agents on the team, a lot of us have kids in elementary school, middle school, high school. So we kind of run the spectrum and know some incredible resources to help get you to the right phone numbers, people to reach out to. So we can be a big help and resource for you on that. But that's tip number 5 on what mistake to avoid. Don't wait too long for that. All right, those were my top 5 mistakes to avoid when moving to Coeur d'Alene. I got a couple bonus ones, just some small things on my mind because it's December right now. It snowed a couple days ago. Winter-wise, do not even try it. Don't try to own a 2-wheel drive car or truck in North Idaho. It's not going to work. It's going to end poorly. You got to get either all-wheel drive or a car that can pop into 4-wheel drive. Born and raised here, so lived in the area 38 years. I've never had snow tires. Crazy. I've always just used 4-wheel drive, and it's, good tires, all-terrain tires, and I've been just fine. I would not suggest that for a newbie. I would say definitely get some studded snow tires just for that little extra help. But you definitely can't do 2-wheel. That's a no-no. Another one, don't try and buy a snow blower in December. It's not going to happen. They won't be available. Lowe's, Home Depot, you're going to walk in and they're going to laugh at you. So try and get that, early in the summer, maybe early fall. You might be able to find something on Craigslist or whatnot, but you just got to think about the snow blowing purchase earlier. All right, last but not least, it's more of something that you'll be told by myself, the real estate agent, the title company, when you buy your home, is you must go and apply for your homeowner's exemption for your taxes. Do not forget that. Do not make the mistake of not applying for it at the county courthouse, because it will lower your taxes. In the state of Idaho, there's a homeowner's exemption. So on your primary residence, you are able to subtract $100,000 from what the county assesses the value of your home. So let's say your home is assessed at worth $600,000, you'll only be taxed on $500,000. So, but the only way to get that is you must go into the courthouse and apply for that exemption, in which I will remind you to do, all of our agents will remind you to do, the title company will remind you to do after you close. But I've still had people forget to go in. So don't make that mistake. You'll save money on taxes. You'll be happy. It'll be all good. And that's it. So those are my top 5 mistakes to avoid and a couple bonus ones. Hope that gave you some, content and value while you're making your decision whether to move to Coeur d'Alene or not. Again, I have a team of 10 agents here. We're all full-time agents, super excited and passionate to work with you and helping you find the right spot to move to in North Idaho. But we all can't get a hold of you or help you out unless you call, text, or email us. So don't forget to call us, text us, email us, get in contact with us, because we can help you out. And until the next video, we'll see you later.